In this video, we will be servicing the lubrication system in this 2003 Toyota Camry. Through the driver's side door, towards the left side, we have the hood release latch. And after releasing our secondary safety latch, we can raise the hood. We first need to locate a few components under the hood. First is the oil fill location. Next is the oil dipstick. The oil fill location can be identified by a black cap, and on that cap it says engine oil followed by SAE 5W30. This is where we will be adding oil into the engine. Next we have our oil dipstick. This is a yellow circle that says engine oil. This is the location where we will be checking the oil at the end. We will also be taking a look at a couple components underneath the vehicle. And to set this up, I have installed rhino ramps under the front tires. I have safety stands just in case the rhino ramps fail. I have wheel chocks behind the rear tires, and I've set my parking brake. And as I take a look underneath the vehicle, looking towards the rear, I want to be focused on the passenger side portion, just a little bit underneath the vehicle. And as we look underneath there, we can clearly see our exhaust system. Directly next to our exhaust system, we have our oil sump. And if I take a look from the other direction, again I can see my exhaust system, and directly next to that I have my oil sump. We can also see our oil plug just a little bit right in the corner. And again, as we take a look at that oil sump or the oil pan, we can see our oil drain plug located in the corner. Directly in front of the oil pan or this oil sump, we have our filter. And if we take a look up around there, we can see our oil filter. This can be identified as a metal cylinder. Now this one is white and it's very dirty. Since we will be switching this vehicle over to Amsoil, we are going to begin by installing Amsoil Engine and Transmission Flush. We're then going to idle the vehicle for about 10 to 15 minutes. This will work the engine flush into all of the nooks and crannies inside of the engine. It will eat all of the sludge and other buildup inside of the engine. Now while this vehicle is idling, I'm going to go ahead and get my drip pan ready, get my wrenches ready, and everything else that I need. Now that it has been 15 minutes, I'm going to turn the vehicle off and immediately drain the oil. Since I have prepped everything beforehand, this should go relatively quickly. And be aware that the oil will be extremely hot. And I'm going to let that drain as much as I possibly can. And we'll just let that drain for a while. And with that oil draining, I can go ahead and remove my oil filter. If installed properly, I should be able to get this just by hand. And this oil will also be hot. And with that oil drained out, we can reinstall the plug. And our oil pan drain plug needs to be torqued to 18 foot-pounds. And we can clean off any additional oil as best as we can. If we get this nice and clean, it will help us determine if there is a leak somewhere. So we want this looking pretty good. If we take a look at the location where our oil filter goes, we want to make sure that the mating surface gets cleaned. We also want to make sure that the rubber ring has come off with the old oil filter. So a couple things I like to do is compare my old oil filter to my new oil filter just to make sure that they look about the same. I also like to make sure that the rubber ring came off with the old oil filter and that it is not stuck up inside of the engine. Now with this oil filter, one thing that I did notice is the date on the bottom. Somebody wrote 11/2/17. Now I am assuming this is probably the date it was installed, and given that it is currently June of 2023, the filter has not been changed for a very long time. I hope at least the oil might have been changed. I'm just not sure. Additionally, if I shake the filter, I can hear that the media has come loose, which is not a good thing to happen with a filter. Now initially I was going to put Amsoil Signature Series into this engine, but given that the filter is so old, there's a good chance there is a lot of junk inside of the engine. We did previously run the engine flush, which will help. However, the oil itself will also clean the engine. So for that reason, I'm actually going to run Amsoil XL, which is still a very robust oil that will clean the inside of the engine. It's just a little bit cheaper, so I'm going to run this for probably about 3 months and then go ahead and do another oil change. Now before we install this filter, we do want to put a little bit of new oil onto that rubber ring. This will help that seal inside the engine. And then we'll go ahead and install our new oil filter. And we want this to be nice and snug. And then we're going to go an additional 3/4 of a turn. And at this point we can remove the cap for our oil fill location and place our funnel there. And this vehicle takes 4 quarts of 5W30. With our 4 quarts of oil installed and a new filter, I like to start the vehicle for about 15 to 20 seconds to let the oil flow within the engine. I'm also going to take the vehicle off of the rhino ramp, so on and so forth, so that I can check my oil level with the vehicle on a level surface. And then we can take our oil reading. And I am just a little bit under the halfway point on the dipstick. Typically the distance between the low indicator and full indicator is 1 full quart. I like to be a little bit on the higher side of the dipstick, so I'm going to add just a little bit of oil and check it again until I get at the level I like. And this repair is complete.